So, Acho, is Steph Curry unfairly disrespected?
Yes, C, and yes. Okay, bro, I hate conversations like these because it's going to make us have to talk down on, and not even talk down on, but put in the proper context Dame and all of Dame's greatness.
Right.
But I got to do it.
You got to do
because
it.
I got to speak these facts.
Yep.
See, you're the full screen king, correct?
Yes, sir.
I'm the full screen prince.
Well,
and it's time for me to try to ascend to the throne.
Let's
take this blind resume full. Just take me off camera if we can, because I want them to see these facts, okay? Blind resume. You have two players. Player on the left, 10-0 in the playoffs versus player on the right. Player on the left, more points, more assists, more rebounds, more field goal percentage, shoots a higher three-point percentage, and in less minutes in all their games. Okay, you can bring me back. And you can also show who these players are. Because player on the left, Marcellus, is one by the name of Stephen Curry. Player on the right is one Dame Lillard. It's not a competition. Is Steph being disrespected in regards to Dame? Absolutely. Bro, you're talking about the OG. You're talking about the one who came first. You're talking about the king size compared to the snack size. It's not even truly worth mentioning. Dame, he shoots from the logo now. Who created shooting from the logo? Who made shooting from the logo fair? Steph Curry. Steph Curry did what Dame is now doing first. Steph Curry did what Dame is now doing better. Steph Curry has already done what Dame is just starting to do. Put some respect, please, on Steph Curry's name.
Oh, my good. First of all, you stole that from Colin Coward.
I did.
We work together, but don't mean we can share each other's materials.
Thanks,
like
Colin.
that. You stole that. Stop, thief. And speaking of thieves, this is why I don't like topics like this to my core. Because comparison is the thief
of joy, bro.
Of joy.
Not Wiley, but it should be.
Well, it could be in the book. I'll lie. I plagiarized. I do not want to get hit up by either one of these guys, especially Dame, because I actually talked to Dame. I don't talk to Steph. But it might happen. Woo! I'm going to give you a timeline of the disrespect because I saw this coming. Once again, if you go from hello to right now, you can see how they've been gnawing and chomping at Steph Curry in terms of his ability and his respect level from day one. The first thing that happened was he was born the son of Dale Curry. And I know, being an athlete, when you get out there in the playground and you're doing well, there's two things that cats want to always take away from you. They always want to shoot a shot, like either you're the coach's son, and nobody wants to be the coach's son because no one's going to get their full respect. Or in Steph's case, oh, man, you just got gifts from your DNA. You ain't working. You ain't really that good. If my daddy was there, Curry, and you know Steph had to deal with that. So then you take it from that level till he goes to a small school. You were talking about small school players just yesterday, CJ and Dame. When you go to a small school like I did, you don't come out into the league with the machinery behind you, the marketing. Imagine if he had went to Duke or Kentucky, how much bigger he is and how much more we could absorb him in terms of respect. But we're still looking at him like, prove something to us. Now he has 2 strikes against him. He's going to have like 5 strikes. Then he comes out with no machinery, and he's playing good, all right, better. Then the ankles keep giving out. Remember that? And you're like, dang, every time you jump on the wagon, you're like, I got to jump off the ankles. And then Mark Jackson, he hooked him up, but he hurt him in the same conversation by saying him and Clay are the greatest shooting duo ever. They're going to be that. And that was a little premature based on the results, but it was deadly accurate for anyone who saw him every single day. And then the cherry on top of all of that was them light-skinned jokes. And them light-skinned jokes was like, because it got to the point where it was mainstream. I never seen that before. Like, everybody got jokes on Steph Curry. He even shot a couple back. But the point of it is, if you look at this gumbo of all of those ingredients, you can see why they're not going to ever get this dude his props, no matter where he shoots from.
Bro, let me tell you why people don't respect Steph Curry. I
didn't say that just now.
I thought, you did. But there's one more reason, bro. Steph Curry is too relatable. You look at Steph Curry, he ain't got no cuts. You look at Steph Curry, he kind of corny. You look at Steph Curry and you're like, man, I could have been Steph. If I would have just spent more time in the gym, I could be Steph. You don't look at LeBron and say, I could be Bron. You don't look at KD and say, I could be KD. You sure as heck don't look at Jordan and say, I could have been Jordan. But you look at Steph and you're like, Steph ain't all that special. You disregard the fact that he was a 2-time MVP winner. You disregard the fact that he was a unanimous MVP winner. And you just look at him and you say, he's not all that special. That's why people don't respect Steph, because in people's fanciful imaginations, and everybody thinks they could have played pro, except people that actually played pro. In people's fanciful imaginations, they're like, Steph, he ain't no different than me. He just spent a little bit more time shooting. Dame is a baller. Don't nobody take a clip of what I'm saying and undermine that Dame is a baller. But let's not be prisoners. Let's not be shackled, and let's not be chained by the moment. Let's remember, Steph is also an OG.
Man, let's bring in another OG. NBA analyst Chris Broussard. Chris, Steph Curry unfairly disrespected?
Well, speaking of light skin,
For real?
Defend your light-skinned brother, Chris.
Look at half of the young stars in the league are light-skinned now. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's a trend going.
Yeah.
But those jokes are out there. He's suburban, right? Because his dad was a rich NBA player. Again, a lot of the superstars in the league coming up now are suburban. I think y'all going a little overboard with the notion of him being disrespected. He is disrespected by some. There's no doubt that there's that segment out there. But overall, his legacy is secure. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is kind of like comparing, and again, with all due respect to Dame, Dominique Wilkins to Michael Jordan. Okay, Dominique could do some nasty dunks. I even think he was a better game dunker than MJ. Dominique could put up points and score almost as well as MJ. But what didn't Dominique have that Jordan had? The rings.
Yeah.
And right now, I don't care what Dame does. Dame's looking like he's going to be a future Hall of Famer and all of that, and maybe he's reaching superstar status. But until he starts winning some rings, you can't put him with Steph. Dame will not be ranked in the top 15 players of all time unless he starts getting some rings, like Steph. ESPN.com just did a poll recently. Steph was ranked 13th best player ever, okay? So Dame's got to get some jewelry, a lot of it, before he can be compared to Steph like that. Steph is one of two small players to lead teams to dynasties. Isaiah Thomas being the first one and Steph Curry being the second. So as great as Dame is, no, you can't put him right now where Steph is, because the reason there is a Dame is because of Steph. Dame would not have, Dame, Trae Young, all these guys would not have thought about taking 35-footers if it weren't for Steph. That's just the fact. He is the best shooter in NBA history. He is the architect of a game change. He revolutionized the NBA. It's totally different now because of Steph Curry and the way he treated the three ball. So, no, you can't. He's got respect. His legacy is secure, even though there are some haters here and there.
My dog, CB, you just spit nothing but facts. But let me spit a couple more. Of all the impressive things that my light-skinned brother just said about Steph, another light-skinned brother, the most impressive thing to me that Steph Curry has ever done is say, you know what? I can ride shotgun. Steph Curry in his prime, 2-time MVP, KD said, okay, I'm going to join the squad. And Steph, he set his ego aside. He set his ego aside, and you said, you know what? For the greater good of the team, I can ride shotgun. Let's not understate how big a deal that is in any sport. KD and Russ, they couldn't get along. Late, great Kobe and Shaq, they couldn't get along. You look at a bunch of teams with a bunch of players, a bunch of superstars, even LeBron and Kyrie end up, they couldn't get along. See, when we talk about Steph and all these rings that he didn't get them by chance. And being a great basketball player isn't just about putting the basket in, putting the ball in the hoop. Being a great basketball player is also about galvanizing a team to victory. When we talk about Steph Curry, the part we sleep on the most is that a player, the best shooter in the NBA history, in his prime, said, you know what? For the sake of the team, for the sake of these chips, I'm going to go ahead and let KD do the thing. Let KD win some MVPs. I already got mine. I'm good. So when we respect Steph and everything he did on the court as far as with the basketball, we also got to respect what he did cerebrally and being like, you know what? For everybody else's sake, I'm a ride shotgun, even though I can drive this thing and drive it myself to a ship.
Yeah, look, I don't want to minimize how much he's being disrespected, but I also don't want to exaggerate how great he is.
We're not.
Whoa,
exaggeration?
Well, somebody just said that Steph Curry is ranked 13th all-time in the NBA.
That came from them 4 letters, though.
That was
came
a
from them 4
panel
letters.
of experts. That was a panel of experts.
What does Barkley always say?
I'm
No
saying.
one's an expert. I just wrote down 13 names that no one could dispute. Kareem, Wilt, Jordan, LeBron, Magic, Bird, Shaq, Russell, Kobe, Duncan, Olajuwon, Big O, Jerry. I'm going to leave that alone. That's 13.
I love the logo, but no, he's not ahead of Steph.
Okay. Well, KD is. I'm going to let that go.
Let that go.
Olajuwon, I let that go. Here's the thing. What's working against him is this is what's going to rob Steph Curry of his ultimate respect level. You said it, being suburban, coming from Pops, kind of cats just don't give you the same amount of props, whatever it is. Being the guy next door. It works when you're Rocky running up and down the streets of Philadelphia. Oh, my God, he's inspiring me to be the guy I could be and fight and show courage. But it also robs you in the same breath. Oh, man, if I would have shot a little more growing up, look at him. I could have done some of that. And that's where I think Steph Curry lands in terms of his respect meter. 2 things can happen at the same time, and one could pop before the other, and then you can get lost in who's really the pioneer. I think that's happening right now because growing up in the 80s, watching rap music evolve as it shifted from the East Coast to West Coast, and also some of the dance trends, it was funny to see us on the West Coast battle the East Coast about who started what first. And if you really look at it, somebody on the East Coast was doing the WAP. And then we still over here doing the snake. And then we finally remixed it and said, no, we doing the WAP and y'all doing the WAP. And then everybody gonna beef over who did it first. But in reality, y'all probably did it at the same time. It's just which one did it on camera first. Don't forget who's older in this conversation, who still has more prime years in this conversation, and who's not as injury prone in this conversation. Stop. I don't want to go too far because Dame Lillard's going to catch up.
You're getting close.
I just want Dame Dollar to we taking away from Steph's respect, and we shouldn't, but we also shouldn't stop and rob Dame Dollar because he's still coming.
Can Dame catch Steph? Leslie, legacy-wise, what does he have to do to catch Steph?
He got to win about 4 or 5 chips and an MVP.
No, he ain't got to win 4.
Right. And he's had to catch him now.
No, why has he got to win 4? KD going to rob Steph of some of that credit of the ones he won.
But that's a part of the problem.
2 or 3.
Look, KD was the best player on those Golden State teams. That's pretty much indisputable.
Thank you.
However, Steph was the most important player. You ask a lot of coaches how they game plan for him. It was Steph because you had to stretch the defense out so far because of him. You know their record was when Steph didn't play and KD played, the record was okay. When KD didn't play and Steph played, the record was tremendous. They just went back to 2016 when they won 73 games. So, Steph, you are underplaying how great his legacy is. And he's going to be in the top 15 in everybody's top category. He's definitely ahead of Jerry West. I'll give you this. Here's one reason that you didn't mention why there's a little disrespect. Because he doesn't not only play defense, there's a great defender, but he doesn't guard the other point guard a lot. Now, that's not his fault. Sometimes that's the coaching staff just doesn't put him on there. But Dame's not a great defender. Kyrie, none of these little point guards, for the most part, are great defenders. But Steph doesn't even take that challenge. And some players look at that like, we on the playground, I'm going at you, and you going at me. It's one-on-one. But Steph robs them of that opportunity to get him back because he doesn't defend him. Let me say this, too, about the suburban.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, go get that.
The game's becoming a suburban game.
Yeah.
Kyrie Irving got the most playground game in the league. Am I correct?
Fact.
Yes.
No, he got the most street game in the league. He's a suburban kid.
Yep.
He is straight suburbs. So I don't think that should be held against Steph.
Nah, look, Marcellus Wiley Jr. is a suburban kid. Y'all better look out about 10, 15 years. He gonna do something special on somebody's court. Here's the thing. I'm looking at a list right now where Steph Curry has been updated on this list to number 26 all time. Don't have beef with me. Have beef with this list.